Good evening, folks. It's that time again of the week. It's Basecamp 9 live stream and mass jump. And again, I'm here with my co-host, Macros Black. Hi, Macros. How are you doing? Any news in the front? What have you been doing? Yes, and I was just coming to him, and this week we have our guest, Commander Rojo Habi. Welcome. How are you doing? It was nice of you to get here as our guest. So how's your journey gone so far? Cool. I think if Vex could make it, I think you can make it. Yeah. I think his ass must be hurting. Vex says that no sound. Everything should be okay. No sound from Macros or Rojo. Why is that? That's odd. That's really odd, yeah, actually. They're all saying that they can't hear anyone but me, so... hold on, I will stop. I don't think so. Let's try this. Can you hear Macros and Rojo now?
Hello. This is hello, Marcus talking.
And this is Rojo.
Hello. This is Macros. This is Macros 1, 2, 3.
And this is Rojo 1, 2, 3.
Now
4, 5, 6.
Now they can hear you. I don't know what was wrong with my. So
you just restarted OBS?
I had some setting wrong, but I haven't really touched that setting, so that's the sound monitoring setting. Okay, obviously they can hear us now, so let's continue with our guest now. So I think Macros, you're good to go with your questions.
Cool, I'm up. Nice. So I mentioned we have some news, and if I should quickly cover them, then that one of the news is that according to ADSM we have jumped over 800 million light years, which is an incredible number. I can't imagine that we have jumped thus far, and also we have made a lot of jumps. I don't have the stats right now. Actually, I do have the stats. And we have also done an amazing number of jumps. That is really totally awesome.
Yeah,
we have made almost 500,000 jumps so far. That is incredible.
Yes.
Just fantastic.
Haven't even crossed the halfway yet, so.
Yeah. So
8.4 million light years, to be exact.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Oh, and in other news, I will do my best to ask Frontier for a decal for this expedition. So
that would be cool.
If they have time and listen to my kind asks, then we may have a decal for the expedition. That is one decal I will wear very proudly.
Yes.
And the other thing is that that's a surprise. I cannot tell you about our last guest for our last jump point, so I will keep that as a secret. That was really the news from me. And now we have some questions for our most excellent guest, Rojo. Hello, Rojo.
Hi there.
So we like to ask our guests some general questions, and you have already had a peek at some of the questions. I have some surprise questions for you later, but let's take that later and just go from the top. So, can you tell us a bit about your commander background?
Yeah, I joined in the last month of Premium Beta, just before launch, and it turned out to be a very different game to what I was expecting, funny enough, because I honestly thought that I would be able to go around looking for players that had huge bounties and attack them, and then that was pretty much not a good idea, because I had no idea just how good some of these PvP players can be, so I backed off on that pretty quick. But always had an idea of exploring right from the very start, because it was what appealed to me from the very beginning, but I never really went more than a couple of thousand light years from the bubble until Distant Worlds was launched, and I just jumped on that as a chance to actually go straight in at the deep end, and that was the most amazing thing ever to get anybody into exploring. I highly recommend just going on one of these large expeditions, because it teaches you so much about what's out there, and you come back with a whole different appreciation for the game, and a lot of this petty squabbling you get on the forums about what is and isn't the way the game that should be played, you can just pretty much ignore it, because it's what you want to do is what you want to do, and it's as simple as that. So yeah, so for 4 years I've been mostly exploring and just basically bimbling about the bubble in between, not really achieving much. I'm still not a billionaire. I'm still only elite in exploring and nothing else. And now I'm on this, and when we get back, I'll be going on Distant Worlds 2. That's pretty much it for the last 4 years, and hopefully I'll still be here in 4 years' time.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And the big secret in Elite Dangerous is that it's not about the goals. It's not about becoming elite. It's not about becoming the other stuff. It's about the journey, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think there's way too much talk about how to make money fast, how to grind money. I really hate that whole topic of money in Elite. I don't understand it. I have been playing since the beginning, and my assets are only 1.5 billion, and that's really not much.
Did you say only?
Yeah. I have about 300 million and about 5 ships. That's total.
Okay, I thought that my assets were low, so okay, you win.
Honestly, couldn't afford an Anaconda for this trip.
How is that possible?
Well, as I explained to you before this broadcast started, I blew up the last one when I was drunk. Accidentally chose a free sidewinder at the rebuy screen, and I've just about recovered that loss now.
Okay, that explains it.
Oh dear, so you took a drunken Iron Man. Yeah, respect, Roger. Much respect.
That's one way of looking at it, yeah.
Yes. I have to try that sometime. No, I don't.
No, but you know what, Henga? there is the aspect of credits and money in Elite Dangerous that you, well, in order for you to acquire the ships you feel you need and should have, then you have to do something to earn the credits, whether it's
I'm kind of hoping that
smuggling runs or whatever. Then you have to do a lot of work to acquire the credits for you to get an outfit.
Yeah,
not least outfit the ships you.
I'm kind of hoping that the squadron update will really put out with money, because you have to buy this fleet carrier and it should be really expensive. So, but
well,
yeah,
I estimate that you would need, if they make it, if Frontier makes it credit based, then I estimate that you need at least 20 billion to acquire a fleet carrier. So there is that.
Back to Rojo.
Back to Rojo.
Rojo,
what?
Yeah, continue, please.
No, go ahead, Anka. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking the thing we talked before the stream. Regarding your name, Rojo, how did you come up with that commander name?
Yeah, right. Way back in the early days of the internet, there was a little thing doing the rounds called "What's your Star Wars name?" I can't remember the exact rules now, but it was like the first 2 letters of your surname followed by the first 2 letters of your first name, 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, and then I think your mother's maiden name and your town of birth came into it. So I just put that together, and that's where Rojo Harvey came from. I've only recently decided how it's pronounced because somebody asked me on this stream.
So basically your commander name is made by your mother's maiden name.
That's the HA, yeah.
Okay.
RO is my surname, JO is my first name, BE is my town of birth.
Okay. I have to try that generator. Because as I said before the stream, my imagination when selecting names in games is really second to none. I have been using this same stupid name for the last 20 years in games, so. And those who don't know, Henka is a nickname from my real name, which is Henry, and 77 is my birth year, less surprisingly. So yes, that makes me 40 years old, but not as old as you guys.
Thank you very much, Henka. But you know what, Henka, then the added benefit of having a tag for this long is that anyone that hears the name Henka, they immediately would know who it is. So
yes,
you have a great benefit.
Yeah.
But Joe, what was your motivation for going on this expedition?
I've not done it before. I get very bored in the bubble quite quickly, and I'm always looking for the next expedition. I always look on EDSM to see what's going on, but I actually saw quite early on in Macross's thread when it was just his trip on his own. I saw the number of people that were jumping on board, and I thought, yeah, I've got to do that. Even though it's a 9-month trip, I thought it's got to be done because it just looks good on my 3D map on EDSM for starters. The fact that I've been all the way around, but no, it's one of those things that every explorer wants to do, and it's the same reason I signed up for the original Distant Worlds. It was, let's do this because what better way to do it than with a bunch of really nice guys that all want to do the same thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, also you had some experience from the Distant Worlds expedition, so the black wasn't entirely new to you.
No, and I've done a few since then. I think I joined the the Crab Nebula expedition, and after I got back from Distant Worlds, which I sort of dropped out of halfway through when I heard about a certain commander who stranded himself on a planet without a ship. Can't remember his name now, but
no, I don't remember either.
Was that something with a K?
but it was quite epic because it was the first time it had happened to anyone at the time, and he was there for over a month, and he spelled out a massive help in tyre tracks on the planet. So from there, I went on to Jacques because he'd just been found, and I did all that in a Python, which took forever because it only had about 25 light year range back in those days.
Yeah. So are you a Python hater?
No, I've got a Python. I love it. It's my go-to ship back in the bubble for just doing missions for general purpose. It's my favourite ship for general purpose use, if you see what I mean. Yeah. I think it still will be after this, after 3.0 drops, because I had a little play with the Chieftain, and well, it's going to take a bit of getting used to. I think I still prefer the Python because it's so useful.
Yeah, it is very useful. It is also my go-to mission ship if I had to go to outposts. So yeah, I used Python a lot.
Yes, I was on with my Python distant worlds, and sad to say I haven't really used Python a lot after distant worlds. I don't know why.
Well, my first Python was for the Hutton Mug trip, and it was the cheapest Python I could afford because I literally had to trade in all my other ships for it. It cost about 50 million, and I was terrified because it was paper thin, and I knew about all the shenanigans going on for people who arrived there getting absolutely slaughtered by the SDC. So I did all that in open, and I was just terrified all the way because I basically spent everything I had on a Python. If I lost that, I would have been mortified.
And how did it go?
I survived. In fact, every time I arrived at Hutton Orbital, it was really quiet, so I got lucky. And no, I haven't got any mugs. I sold them.
Rojo, do we have any objectives and goals for this journey around the galaxy?
Main objective is to actually finish it, because I think everybody here is starting to appreciate that it is quite a grueling trip. Bigger than that is to get back before Distant Worlds 2 starts, because I'd hate to have to, I'd hate to have to abandon this one because there's no way I'm going to miss the beginning of that. But no, it's just I've started, so I'll finish. So, and that's really what I'm not out to find any major new discoveries, because I think the chances of that are slim. I mean, the chances of one of us doing it out of the what did you say, 40 or 50 of us still going is high, but the chances of it being me, out of all these 40 billion star systems, no, I just want to get round and enjoy the journey as much as I can.
Yeah. So, are you traveling the very rim, or are you sticking to the more dense?
I'm plotting as straight along as I can between each waypoint and each base camp. I'm not. If someone does publish an easy route or an easier route to certain places, I'm trying to ignore it if I can and find my own way there, which is why these last few waypoints have taken me so long, because I've literally just been doing them jump by jump, and then, oh dear, I need to land to find some more materials just in case I run out. But yeah, I'm trying to do all the navigation side of it myself without actually, obviously if I do get stuck, I'm more than happy for someone to help me out with a route, but I'd feel that would not exactly a failure, but I'd feel more of achievement if I'd done all the navigation side of it myself. But I've forgotten what the question was now.
If you're traveling the very rim,
not the very, very rim, but I'm finding that this particular leg, there's this thin band of really, if you look on the EDSM map, there's this thin band of highly populated space with really very little either side of it, which is obviously where we've all been. But so not the very, I'm not going out into premium jump territory purely for the sake of it. But I'm just plotting straight lines between waypoints if I can.
So what's your jump range?
At the very, very maximum, if I drain the tank till I've just got enough for one jump, it's 54.56, I think.
So you're flying an Asp Explorer?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So earlier no, that was last year, actually. The end of last year, someone put out a challenge to go to a particular place on one of the arms. I think it was called the Arms End Challenge, Rojo.
Yeah, I
and did you go to the Arms End?
I originally said on the forums that I wasn't even going to attempt that, and as soon as I posted it, I thought, no, let's give it a go. And I headed out that way because I had a bit of time in hand. And as soon as it started getting difficult, I thought, maybe later when there's not on such a major expedition. But I think possibly that would have been easy compared to what these last few waypoints I've just been through have been like, because it wouldn't have been any more difficult, put it that way, because it was like 3,000 miles of premium jump, 3,000 light years of premium jumps, and I just thought I won't waste time on this now, and I just sort of pretty much turned around, but I got about halfway.
Halfway? Okay. Well, that's good too. So why did you give up? Is because you ran out of Jumponium, or?
More because I thought I was going to run out of time. I thought it was just going to. It would have taken weeks and weeks, and I thought, well, I will be horribly behind if I do that, and I don't know really. But if I went back now, I probably would have felt a bit braver, having gone to some of the more remote waypoints that have been along the route. But back then, things have been reasonably easy up to that point, haven't they? So I just thought I went as far as I could to kill a bit of time before the next base camp, and then I thought, no, I just gauged how long it would take to get back to the next base camp for the next meeting, but as it turned out, I wasn't available on that Saturday for the meetup anyway, so I think I arrived on the Friday and there were about 2 people there. So yeah, but it was basically it was a combination of, do I really want to spend a lot of time on this, and am I going to really? I think I was late for the. No, I was late for the next base camp because I actually posted a thing on the forum and said, "Sorry, I'm late. Hello, where is everyone?" But yeah,
yeah, you yeah. Didn't you say that you were 4 days late? Something
like that. Yeah, something like that. Although not nearly as late as I've been for the last few, because I
think you also stated that you met someone there, right? Or were you totally alone?
Not at Arm's End, no. I mean, I bumped into Commander Wayland out at West Point Ormond more recently, just before Christmas, because he was he was put out a distress call because he'd smashed up his hull pretty badly, and he was looking for repair limpets, but I couldn't help him, unfortunately. And that's when I made the decision to spend Christmas at Jack's, which also was quite a trip, because 29,000 light years in 2 days to get to Jack's. And then I was
that's a lot.
Wasted a couple of weeks over Christmas there, and then decided to rejoin the fleet about 20,000 light years back from where I had been. So
that's a lot of travel.
I have actually drawn this massive triangle on the galaxy-sized triangle on the galaxy map. But and then if I had known how long it was going to take me to get to Manifest Destiny and Star 1, maybe I wouldn't have gone back that far. But I'm catching up now anyway. I'm about 200 light years behind you all.
Sounds great. I think that Arm's End was the real first test.
I beg your pardon, 200 jumps.
Yeah. I think Arm's End was the first real test of what was to come, and what we had to deal with on the waypoints further ahead. So Arm's End was a great test for Manifest Destiny. I was taken a bit by surprise how much Jumponium I had to spend to get to Manifest Destiny. really. Star 1 was a different matter because we had a route there, and it was, well, really just a walk in the park, really, if you had the range. So Star 1 was easy, I think.
I actually enjoyed Star 1 because I'd already done Manifest Destiny, and I was less worried about getting there, because also the waypoint before that was a green system, so you could just stop off there and it's just a couple of jumps beyond. So that was a lot easier, because I knew I didn't have to conserve half my jumponium in case I didn't make it. I knew I could just keep forging ahead. As long as I got to that green system, I'd be fine.
Yeah. So on your travel so far, have you had any, or do you have any rules regarding when you should set down and scout for jumponium materials?
I think I've got about 38 premium jumps in the bank, and if I get down to half that and I've not got where I need to go, it's time to either turn back or seriously start searching for materials.
Yeah. Well, my Anaconda has a jump range of about 64 light years, so I'm spending a lot of J1s and some J2 and not that much J3, but I find that I spend a lot of vanadium, because you spend 2 vanadiums on each J1, so I've been scouting for a lot of vanadium on this trip. It has taken me a bit by surprise, really. I thought I would be scouting for yttrium and polonium and all the really rare J3 stuff, but mostly I've been scouting for vanadium.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it, that whatever you're looking for is the one thing you can't find.
That reminds me, at this point I have to say that remember, people, to take some carbon with you, because that's the material we need for jumponium when 3.0 drops. Just so that you don't get stranded anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point, Henk. But I'm hoping Frontier will do the right thing and assign all of us the maximum amount of carbon in our material storage.
Yeah, and I think that if you're missing the carbon when 3.0 drops and you're stranded, if you message support, I think they will grant you a few carbons.
Yeah, but I think now you mentioned support, I think they will do it just to spare all the support tickets, because a lot of support tickets would be flowing into support, and they will be flooded really with stranded explorers.
And I was actually a bit surprised last time my SRV got destroyed, because the support answered me. They replaced my SRV, that's okay, but they said that next time they want video footage. So keep your video recorders on all the time when you're doing your SRV shenanigans.
Yeah, it would be funny if support would insist on having videos sent and showing that you really don't have any carbon.
Yeah. Yep.
We need a video of you having no carbon.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That would be really funny.
But yeah, I think they are a bit fed up with people asking their SRVs back.
Yeah, but you know what? They should just fix the bloody SRVs.
Yes, agree.
When multiple commanders are gathered. Roger, you mentioned you went to Colonia. Why did you go to Colonia?
It was actually, from where I was, closer than the bubble. Only by a few thousand, but it was, like I said, it was about 29,000. And at that point, out at West Point Ormond, it was the closest starport, I think, or the closest civilization. And I've not been there for a while.
So it was just curiosity, or did you have to go back for repairs?
No, funny enough, it was just talking to Wayland, and he was saying he might have to go back there for repairs, but it turned out he didn't, because somebody else came to his rescue, and I just suddenly thought, well, at one point I said, well, I'll come back and meet you there, just for something to do, because I was so far ahead of the fleet at that point. But then I thought, oh, it'd be nice to actually spend Christmas in the bubble, get my ship chromed with a new Christmas chrome paint job, and just little things like that. So I just went, and like I say, I did it all in about. I did that particular trip back in 2 days. Took me a little bit longer to come back out to where you all were. I can't remember which base camp it was now. The numbers are starting to blur, but no, it was just a nice place to go for Christmas, really.
Well, 29,000 light years. That is still a distance. So,
indeed.
So, did you check the neutron star jumps, or did you just go regular?
Oh no, I used neutron boosts where necessary. I think there was quite a few along the way, but thankfully the route plotter sort that out for you now as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and I think it spares you a jump, because I've noticed that in my case I only get 2 consecutive neutron stars, and then I get a fuel star. So it's not like it plots neutron stars all the way. It places safe and just give me max 2 neutron stars in sequence.
Right, I'll have to check that out, because I think I've had 3 in a row before, but yeah, I'll have to check that, because if that would be good if it did actually take that into account.
Yeah, I think it does in my case. I have 16 tons of fuel. Yeah,
because the Anaconda's got a smaller tank anyway. You can only get about 4 jumps per tank, can't you, I think? Yeah.
I switched mine from 32 to 16 to
so very
longer jumps. So if you have the default fuel tank size on the SP Explorer, that would explain you getting 3 and me getting 2 jumps.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
But I really like the neutron jumps. The trip goes much faster if you have to go somewhere in a hurry. So I really like the neutron stars.
Yeah, except I can't resist stopping to scan them every time. That slows me down.
I do that too. I scan every star along the way.
I have been finding recently Aletnil tags again after a long break. I haven't seen Aletnil for a long time, but now I have been seeing those a lot.
Really?
I'm currently crossing the arms. I'm 3,000 light years from waypoint 18, so...
Okay.
The star density is really low there, and yeah, well, it's Aletnil. He tags everything, so...
Yeah, when I crossed the Mare Disparationis, which is the region that separates the outer arm from the Centaurus arm, I saw Stuli and all ITNL all along the way.
Yeah.
And I could tell that Stuli got there first, because when I hit systems with only 1 star, it had the Stuli tag on it.
Oh, look, we have a late arrival.
Yeah, we did. And do you remember, Henke, that we also saw a commander called Hamstelbaster?
Yes.
That's Stuli too.
Yeah.
That's his second account.
Yeah,
I just realized that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw your post at the forums today.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Taking two commanders all this way up to the very ridge.
Yes.
Stuli and Hamstelbaster. It's a funny name. Hamstelbaster. I want to say Hamstelblaster all the time, but it is Hamstelbaster.
I'm saying
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means, Rojo? Hamstelbaster? Or is it just a name?
No idea, but now I'm thinking hamster baster.
I'm saying hamster bastard because he keeps tagging all those ALVs.
I've seen his name all over the place as well.
Yeah, he really is.
If Commodore Hamster Bastard is listening, I'm sorry about that, but you're really tagging all the water worlds in front of me. So you're Hamster Bastard to me. Sorry about that.
Well, a shame we can't all tag the planets, but there it is. Unless we group tag it. And do we have any stats on our group tax system?
I think it's around 26 tags.
Oh.
Something like that. I haven't checked that for a long time.
Well, I will get there eventually, so that'll be 27.
That'll be 27, yeah.
It's
so
under 30, anyways, I think. So we can tag.
So your guess is under 30?
Yeah, we can tag the same system when DECE starts. So.
Yeah. Roger, did you do any further shopping at Colonia? Did you buy any ships by any chance?
Yeah, I did actually. I bought a Python, but there's very little in the way of outfitting at Jacques, so it was a bit of a tank, and I've left it there just in case it comes in useful next time I'm out that way. But no, I thought because I cashed in what data I had so far, and it was just so that everyone can gauge. Around about quarter of the way round, we were at that point, and I got over 300 million. And I haven't been scanning everything I come across, so I thought, well, okay, I'll get a little run around just for the time I'm here. So I bought a Python. It's not particularly well spec'd because I only use what outfitting Jacques had to offer, but it's there.
So it's not possible to A-rate anything?
Not Jacques itself. I don't know if there's any other stations nearby that are. You need high tech for that, don't you?
I think
Colonia is still quite new.
The best A-rated module is class 3, I think.
Oh dear.
Yes.
But it's good enough for running around, and it's actually quite a tank, so it can take quite a lot of punishment if you decide to do any combat zones or stuff like that.
One thing I always missed on the Python is more utility slots. I cannot fathom why it's only have 4 utility slots. Because whenever I took a Python into a combat zone, for instance, the shields would go down really, really quick, even if they were A-spec'd and engineered, and I had boosters on, the shields would just vanish like wet tissue.
I must admit, I just use chaff and point defense mostly, so 2 of each.
Yeah, then you have even lower shields.
Oh, absolutely. Then you have to learn to fight or run or both. Yeah, absolutely. So I never liked taking my Python into a combat zone. I always took the Anaconda. But it does have military slots now, doesn't it? I think so. You can put whole
Python.
Yeah, or does it not?
I can't remember.
No, I can't. But I put a couple of hull enhancements and things in it anyway, just to just to beef it up a little bit. But it was really just a fun run around for the 2 weeks that I was going to be there. So I didn't really put a lot of science into it. I just chucked things at it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think it has military slots. I'm looking in Coriolis right now, and it doesn't look like it has any internal slots like the Anaconda or the Federal Corvette. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. So it's a fairly normal ship, even if I think the description says something along the lines that the Python is a military ship. Doesn't it say that? I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Always used to be in the early iterations of the game, didn't it? Because that was the big ship that the police would come at you with if you were really bad.
Yeah, I joined Elite Dangerous after the Python had been nerfed. I read somewhere that the pitch of the Python was really excellent and it was a killer ship. And then Frontier went ahead and nerfed the pitch on the Python.
Back then, I think the best I could afford was a Cobra, so I really didn't get in on all that side of it. I just sort of read it on the forums that people were upset about it, but I didn't really know because I'd never flown one.
So you never missed it. Cool.
That's right.
So I have a few questions left for you, Roger. Time flies.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
You in the collective logs that you have been.
Oh, you read that?
I read them. I read all your posts on the collective logs of the DECE expedition. Just for this interview, I came prepared, Roger. You mentioned birds and feathers a lot.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I don't know
why is that?
That was my space madness episode. That was to explain why I'd suddenly gone so far ahead of the fleet. I think because I think I was just going, and I don't know. Some reason I was just typing away, and then the incident with the pigeon came into my head. So I thought, okay, what happens if Commander Rojo suddenly thinks he's a pigeon being chased by peregrines and taking flight? And that was I don't know. It just and yes, I was sober when I wrote it, but yeah, no, it was just all just sort of came into my head at the time, and that was space madness hitting me at a particular point, and explained why suddenly I was 20,000 light years ahead of everybody else in a very short time. So yeah, that was that.
Okay. So I was thinking, he's a bird keeper. He has pigeons. He has homing pigeons, and that is his hobby.
No, usually it's just a word somewhere will trigger something in my memory of something somewhere that will morph into something else. It's just, and I don't know. It all just suddenly came out. I didn't even know what I was writing until I finished it, to be honest. And I thought that's weird. I'll leave that.
Oh, good. So my last question for you, Rojo, is there any last words you want to convey to us?
Last words? That sounds a bit ominous.
For this interview.
No. Not really. It's just thank you very much for inviting me to be on this show, because it's an absolute honour. I feel like I'm actually landed at last, if you see what I mean. But yeah, no, thanks very much for having me, and I hope it hasn't been too much of a trauma to listen to for everybody. So thank you very much.
Oh, your name will be written in the cupboard of the chosen ones.
That's what I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were very pleased to have you, Rojo. It has been an honor for us.
Yes. Very good that you could join.
Yeah, we much appreciate it. Thank you very much, Rojo.
Thank you.
It's 1 minute to mass jump, so prepare your FSDs and frenzy drives. And here we go. Green, 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 blue. Oh man. Why didn't you wait, Macros?
Oh, should I? I forgot. I thought you were with us, but you're not, right?
I'm in the multi-crew. But we got the start of the mass jump, so I think that looked good. And no, and here's the other commanders. But yeah, that was Basecamp 9 mass jump and talk show with our guest Commander Rojo Habib. Good thing that you joined us. And at this point I have to say that the Basecamp 10 live stream and mass jump will be done by Macros, because I have some family relations to do, and I will be not joining Basecamp 10. Sadly, I know you are all devastated about this information, but
we are all devastated by this information,
yes.
Henka, and we wish so much you could be with us at Basecamp 10. But I promise to do the best I can, although I will never live up to your excellence in doing this talk show.
Yeah, especially when I can't even get the sounds to work.
No worries, you fixed it, so that is all water under the bridge, right?
But yeah, next Basecamp will be by Macros and with a guest, which we'll know, I think, next week, maybe. But we will inform you when the live stream comes. Or Macros will, I don't.
Yep. Yes, I
will be back at Basecamp 11 if everything goes right. So I think we're good to end this here. So thank you, our guest Rojo Happy, for joining.
Thank you, Rojo.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
And thank you, Macros, once again, being a great co-host.
Thank you too, Marika.
And to the rest of the fleet, fly safe, and we will see you next time. Fly safe, Commanders. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.